My fiancée told thousands online that she only married me for money. No love and respect. So I canceled everything and walked away with my dignity. I'm a 32-year-old male working as a network engineer for a mid-sized tech company in the suburbs, earning $78,000 a year plus benefits. It may not be Silicon Valley rich, but it's comfortable enough for me to have some savings and not worry when my car needs repairs. My days involve fixing server issues, troubleshooting network outages, and explaining to executives why, no, Karen from accounting can't have admin privileges just because she needs to install something for work. Most people's eyes glaze over when I try to explain what I actually do. They simply know me as the computer guy who fixes things when they break. Let me give you some background about myself since it matters for context. I grew up in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. Nothing special, just typical middle American suburbia with strip malls and high school football as the main entertainment. My parents split when I was 12, which is a pretty standard divorce story. Dad was a factory worker at Honda, and Mom was a pediatric nurse. I lived with Mom during the week and Dad on weekends. They didn't hate each other. They just grew apart, as they say. I was always the nerdy kid who built my first computer at 14 from parts I saved up for by mowing lawns and shoveling snow. I got decent grades, not valedictorian or anything, but enough to get into Ohio State. I studied computer science, graduated with some debt but not crippling amounts, and worked my way through various IT jobs until I landed this network engineering position 4 years ago. There's nothing exceptional about my life. I have a small group of close friends, mostly guys I game with or know from work. I drive a 2018 Subaru, which is practical and reliable. My apartment is nice but not fancy, a 2-bedroom in a decent complex with covered parking and a gym I occasionally use. I've got a 401k that's doing okay and about $65,000 in various savings accounts because my dad always drilled into me to have at least 6 months of expenses saved. I listen to tech podcasts and sometimes history ones, play video games to unwind, and watch sports occasionally, but I'm not the guy who gets angry when my team loses. I'm just a normal, stable dude. My fiancée, Amber, is everything I'm not. At 27, she's a marketing coordinator at some trendy downtown agency with exposed brick walls and kombucha on tap, making about $65,000 a year but living like she's pulling 6 figures. She's drop-dead gorgeous, blonde, gym-toned, and always dressed like she's heading to a photo shoot, even if we're just grabbing groceries. When we first met at my buddy Dave's housewarming party 3 years ago, I couldn't believe she even talked to me. She was way out of my league, at least physically. I still remember that night. I was in the kitchen getting a soda when she walked up and said, "You're the only guy here not trying to get my attention." Naturally, you got my attention. I mumbled something about not being great at parties. She laughed like I'd said the funniest thing ever. "I'm Amber," she said, holding out her hand. "Mike," I replied, probably looking like an idiot. We talked for 2 hours straight. She seemed genuinely interested in my boring job, asked follow-up questions, and laughed at my awkward jokes. I figured she was just being nice until she put her number in my phone and said, "Text me tomorrow, not tonight." "Tomorrow, so I know you're interested, but not desperate." I texted at exactly 1 p.m. the next day, and we went on our first date that weekend. Fast. Forward 2 years, and I proposed, with a ring that cost me $4,800, nearly 3 months' salary that I had to save up, for by cutting back on literally everything else. I remember eating ramen for dinner 3 times a week for months, while still taking her to nice restaurants because it would be suspicious if we suddenly started going to cheaper places. The look on her face when I pulled out that ring was worth every penny, or so I thought. Our relationship seemed good, or so I believed. Sure, there were little things that bothered me. She got annoyed when I didn't want to go out every weekend, and she rolled her eyes when I suggested staying in to watch a movie instead of dropping $200 on dinner. She called me practical to a fault while she maxed out credit cards on designer bags that all looked exactly the same to me. But she seemed to love me, and I loved her. The thing about Amber is that she's obsessed with social media, like pathologically addicted. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, you name it. She's posting on it. Everything from what she ate for breakfast to cryptic quotes when she's feeling deep. I was in a mood. At first I thought it was cute, then annoying, and eventually I just accepted it as part of dating someone born after 1990. Babe, no one cares what your lunch looks like. I'd say my followers do, she snapped back. Some of us actually have a social presence. Not everyone wants to be invisible online like you. She had about 12,000 followers, not influencer level, but enough to get free stuff from local boutiques and think she was building her personal brand, whatever that means. Our social media presence as a couple was carefully curated. I appeared in maybe 1 out of 20 posts, usually looking candid after she made me pose 15 times. According to her Instagram, we were this perfect couple who went on amazing dates, took fantastic vacations, and never argued about her spending $300 on a purse when our hot water heater needed replacing. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I knew she was high maintenance. I knew she was a bit shallow, but I thought there was someone who genuinely cared about me underneath all that. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. So anyway, about a month ago, she told me she was doing a girls' empowerment night with her work friends, Megan and Kylie. Just face masks, snacks, and talking about career goals or whatever. She kissed me goodbye around 6:30, texted me at 7:15 with, "Miss you already, babe," and I settled in for a night of peace. I ordered a pizza and fired up my gaming PC to play some Elden Ring. Around 11 I noticed something strange. She hadn't posted a single thing all night. This is a woman who takes pictures of her shadow if it looks aesthetic. Not one boomerang of them doing face masks, no group selfies, and no Instagram story of them dancing to Taylor Swift. Odd. I remembered this old burner Instagram account I made about a year ago when I was helping my company test some social media analytics tool. Different name, 2487. No profile picture, 0 posts. I logged in out of curiosity and searched for Amber. There she was, on Instagram Live titled Girl Boss Night, with about 45 people watching. I clicked. The camera was propped up on what looked like a water bottle. Amber and her friends were sitting on her friend's sectional sofa, sparkling water and snacks on the coffee table. They were all giggly, talking over each other and acting super energetic. Amber was reading comments from her phone. "Thanks, Jenny loves 94. Yes, this is my natural hair color." Then someone asked, "How's wedding planning going with the IT guy?" Megan leaned into the frame. "Yeah, Amber, is Mike even involved or are you doing everything?" Amber rolled her eyes dramatically. "Mike is, what's the word? He's so freaking basic. He's financially stable, which is the only reason I'm still with him. Good credit score, no debt, actual savings account, but God, the man wears the same 3 button-downs and thinks Olive Garden is a date night." They all laughed. Kylie chimed in. "But he bought you that fat rock." Amber held up her hand, her 1 and 1/2 carat diamond sparkling. "Yeah, only because I showed him exactly which one to buy and told him if it wasn't at least this big, I'd say no. Took him forever to save up for it, too. Like, just put it on credit like a normal person." Then she looked directly at the camera and said, "He's a stepping stone, not the destination. Once we're married and I get my business off the ground, who knows? People grow apart." She winked. Kylie laughed. Someone in the comments wrote, "Does he know you feel this way?" Lol. Amber smirked. "He doesn't watch my lives. He's probably playing video games like a teenager." Then she took another sip of her sparkling water and changed the subject to some diet she was trying. I sat there, controller forgotten in my hands, feeling like someone had punched me in the stomach. My brain kept replaying her words. Stepping stone, not the destination. 3 years together, engagement, wedding plans, talking about kids someday. And I was just a freaking ATM with a pulse to her. I didn't rage, didn't throw anything, and didn't immediately call her out. I just sat there letting the reality sink in. The woman I thought I was going to spend my life with had just publicly said I was nothing more than a financial plan, a means to an end, a stepping stone. I exited out of the live but made sure to record the last few minutes using screen recording. Then I turned off my PC, went to bed, and stared at the ceiling until she texted that she was on her way home. The next morning, she came home in workout clothes that cost more than my monthly car payment, dropped her overnight bag, gave me a quick peck, and immediately started making her detox smoothie with ingredients that cost about $15 per serving. "How was your night?" I asked, keeping my voice neutral. "So fun," she replied. "Megan's thinking about leaving her boyfriend." "He's such a loser," she said. I nodded. "Cool. What did you do?" she asked, not looking up from her phone. "Nothing much. Played some games. Watched a movie," I replied. "Huh," she muttered, already scrolling through Instagram. That's when it hit me. I'd spent 3 years with someone who saw me as nothing but a financial plan. I remembered all the little comments that should have been red flags. "When are you going to ask for a raise? Jake at my office makes way more than you. Can't we go somewhere nicer for vacation? My followers will think I'm dating a broke guy. Don't you want to apply for that management position?" The salary bump would help with the wedding. Every conversation circled back to money, status, and appearances. She'd critique my clothes, my haircut, my car, all while spending my money on her lifestyle. In the 3 years we'd been together, she'd never once asked about my dreams, my childhood, or what made me happy. And like an idiot, I'd been too grateful that a hot girl was interested in me to notice she was just using me. Let me give you some examples of how one-sided things were. First, my dad had a health scare last year, a possible heart attack that turned out to be severe indigestion. I was worried sick. Amber's response? "Can we talk about this later? I'm trying to finish this sponsorship post." Second, I got passed over for a promotion I really wanted. When I told Amber, she said, "Well, maybe if you dressed better for work, people would take you more seriously." "Want me to help you shop for better clothes?" Not an "I'm sorry" or "that sucks," just immediately making it my fault. Third, for my 31st birthday, I wanted to have a few friends over for grilling and games. She vetoed it because it wouldn't look good on Instagram, and instead organized a dinner at a trendy restaurant where she invited her friends, took tons of photos, then spent the entire time talking to them while I sat there feeling like a prop. Fourth, every time we visited my parents, she'd be on her phone the whole time and then complain on the drive home about how boring they were. But I had to be fully engaged and charming when we visited her family. The list goes on. For 3 years, I'd been making excuses for her behavior. She's just stressed. She grew up differently. She has high standards. But watching that Instagram live cut through all the nonsense, this wasn't love. This was a transaction to her. And I was getting the raw end of the deal. For the next week, I played it cool. I went to work, came home, and acted normal. But inside, I was taking inventory of our relationship, our finances, and our future. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Because I realized something. I deserved better than being someone's stepping stone. While Amber was busy posting wedding inspiration boards and honeymoon destination polls, I was methodically untangling our lives. First, I did a full accounting of our finances. Here's how things stood. My annual salary was $78,000 before taxes, and her annual salary was $65,000 before taxes. My savings were approximately $65,000 across various accounts, while her savings were about $4,300, which disappeared whenever a designer had a sale. Our joint savings for the wedding and honeymoon was $32,400, of which I had contributed $28,000. My retirement accounts totaled $112,000. Her retirement accounts? Zero, because that's for old people. Monthly rent was $2,200, with me paying $1,700, and her paying $500, because my job is more stressful. Utilities were 100% me. Groceries were mostly me, except for her specialty items which she bought. Her credit card debt was $22,000 across 4 cards, while my credit card debt was zero because I pay it off monthly. Looking at it laid out like that was a wake-up call. I was being financially drained while she was living beyond her means on my dime. Next, I called the venue where we booked our wedding, which had a $15,000 deposit, mostly from my savings. I explained the situation to the manager, a middle-aged woman named Karen. "So you're calling to cancel?" she asked. "Not exactly," I replied. "I'm calling to see if I can transfer the reservation to a different name and get my deposit back. My fiancée publicly announced she's only marrying me for financial stability and plans to leave me once she gets what she wants. I have video evidence." Silence. Then she said, "Let me see what I can do." Karen came through. Not only did she agree to refund my deposit, but she also put a note in their system that Amber couldn't rebook the date if she tried. The refund would take 30 days to process, which worked perfectly for my timeline. Next, I contacted our honeymoon resort in Bali about an $8,200 package, which was fully refundable up to 60 days before. Easy? I called my bank and explained I needed to separate our finances discreetly. The joint savings account had about $32,400 in it, roughly $28,000 of which was my contribution. I had documentation of all my deposits. The banker helped me transfer my portion to a new private account at a different bank. Then I called my landlord. We had moved into my apartment when we got engaged, but only my name was on the lease. I needed to break my lease early, I explained. Personal emergency, I said. That's a $2,000 fee, he replied. What if I find you a new tenant? I proposed. We'd waive the fee. Perfect. I had a buddy whose lease was ending the following month. He was looking for a place, and my apartment fit his budget. Win-win. I booked a small furnished apartment across town, a month-to-month lease for $1,800 per month, which was less than I was paying for our larger place. I arranged for movers on Thursday, when Amber would be at an all-day marketing conference. The final touch was to revisit the Instagram Live. It was still up. I recorded the entire thing, had it transcribed, and saved screenshots, not for blackmail, but for closure. I wanted evidence for when my mind tried to gaslight me later with thoughts like, maybe it wasn't that bad. Then I logged out of everything we shared. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, even our shared photo storage. I removed my credit card from all her linked accounts. I also made a list of all the things I owned before we moved in together versus what we had bought jointly. Anything we purchased together, I was leaving behind. Anything that was mine before, I was taking. Fair is fair. The plan wasn't about revenge. It was about self-preservation, about extracting myself from a toxic relationship with minimal drama, and about starting over with my dignity intact. As I waited for the day to arrive, I had a moment of doubt. 3 years is a long time. We had memories, inside jokes, and routines. I almost called it off. Almost. Then I overheard her on the phone with Megan. Yeah, the venue is booked. It's not as upscale as I wanted, but it's what we can afford with Mike's budget. I'm working on him for the upgraded catering package. He keeps talking about staying within budget, but I mean, it's my wedding day. There it was again. My wedding day. Not our wedding day. Like I was just the wallet making her princess fantasy come true. Doubt gone, Thursday arrived. Amber left at 7 a.m. for her conference, dressed in a blazer that cost more than my first car, kissing me goodbye with a distracted, "Love you. Make dinner reservations for tonight. I'm networking with VPs." As soon as she left, I texted the movers. All clear. They arrived at 8. I had everything boxed and labeled. My clothes, electronics, personal items, family heirlooms. We were done by 10 hours. I left behind anything we had bought together, the overpriced sofa she insisted on, the matching dining set, and the bed we shared. I placed the engagement ring, the one I had worked overtime for months to afford, in a water glass on the kitchen counter. Poetic, I thought, since she'd been drinking sparkling water when she revealed her true feelings. I didn't leave a note. I didn't need to. She had broadcast to the world what she thought of me. I was just taking her at her word. By noon, I was setting up my new place. By 2, I had my internet working. By 5, I was sitting on my new couch. Nothing fancy, just comfortable, when my phone exploded. The first call came at 5:23 p.m. I let it go to voicemail. Then another and another. The first voicemail said, "Mike, where are you? Where's your stuff? Call me back. This isn't funny." The second one, "Are you freaking kidding me? You moved out over what? Call me." The third, "If this is about that stupid Instagram Live, you're being ridiculous. You know I love you. Please call me." They got progressively more desperate, then angry, then tearful. Our text messages flooded in, 5:42 p.m. "Mike, where are you?" 5:43 p.m. "Why is your stuff gone?" 5:45 p.m. "Answer your phone." 5:52 p.m. "Is this a joke? Because it's not funny." 6:01 p.m. "I can't believe you do this to me." 6:08 p.m. "Over one stupid comment." Really? 6:15 p.m.? You're acting like a child. 6:23 p.m. The ring too. Seriously? 6:30 p.m. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is an extreme reaction. 6:45 p.m. Please just call me so we can talk about this. 7:03 p.m. Mike, I'm worried about you. 7:15 p.m. If you don't call me back, I'm calling the police to do a wellness check. 7:32 p.m. I'm coming to find you. I turned my phone off. When I turned it back on the next morning, I had 78 missed calls, 134 text messages, 23 voicemails, and notifications that she had tried to log into my email and bank accounts. I didn't respond to any of it. Around noon, I received a text from my buddy Dave. Dude, Amber is having a complete meltdown. Did you guys break up? I checked her Instagram and saw a tearful selfie, makeup strategically smudged, with the caption, "When the person you thought would stand by you forever abandons you without even a conversation." She added, "Men really will waste years of your life and walk away without explanation." The comments were split. Her regular followers offered sympathy. "You deserve better, girl. Men are trash. His loss. Honey." But there were others who questioned her. "Wasn't this the guy you called a stepping stone on your life? Didn't you say you were only with him for financial stability?" I saved that live. Want me to post it? She was frantically deleting comments, but they kept coming. By evening, she showed up at my new place. I still don't know how she found my address, probably through a mutual friend. The building has secure entry, so she couldn't get in. I watched from my window as she stood outside, calling my name, alternating between sobbing and screaming. "Mike, please. I didn't mean any of it. It was just stupid girl talk. You can't throw away 3 years over one mistake. I love you. The wedding is in 4 months. What am I supposed to tell people?" I felt nothing. Not anger, not heartbreak, not satisfaction. Just peace. It was like I had removed a parasite that had been draining me for years. Eventually, security asked her to leave or they'd call the police. She left, but the texts continued. "You're being so immature. I can't believe you did this to me. What about the venue, the flowers, my dress?" Notice how it was all about her. Not once did she say she missed me. Just what I provided. The final blow came when she realized what else I had done. "Why is my credit card declined? Did you cancel our cards?" I hadn't. I'd simply removed mine as the backup payment method on her maxed-out cards. I finally sent one text. "You said I was a stepping stone. I'm just helping you move on to that destination you mentioned. Good luck with your journey." Her response came immediately. "That's not fair. And you know it. I was just talking nonsense with my friends. Everyone does that." I didn't reply. She tried a different angle. "What about all the wedding deposits? We're going to lose thousands of dollars." I didn't reply. She escalated. "My parents already bought plane tickets. What am I supposed to tell them?" I didn't reply. She tried guilt. "I thought you were different. I thought you really loved me." I didn't reply. She tried threats. "I'm going to tell everyone what a jerk you are." I didn't reply. She tried one last plea. "Can we please just talk in person? I still love you, Mike." After 24 hours of silence from me, she posted again on Instagram. This time it was an angry rant about how men can't handle strong women, run away from confrontation, and break promises when things get tough. Again, the comments were mixed. Her die-hard followers supported her, but others were skeptical. Someone had apparently recorded parts of her Instagram live, and it was circulating. Her attempts to play victim were backfiring. I still said nothing. A week passed. I went to work, came home, and started rebuilding my life. I told my boss what happened in case Amber tried to contact me at work. He was supportive and said to take time off if I needed it. I didn't. I got texts from mutual friends asking what happened. I kept it simple. Amber made it clear she was with me for financial stability, not love. Some understood, while others thought I was overreacting. I didn't care. The hardest part was dealing with her family. Her mom called me crying, asking what happened. I liked her mom. She had always been kind to me. I explained as gently as I could. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "I'm sorry." I raised her better than that. Amber tried a new strategy. She started showing up at places she knew I frequented. My favorite coffee shop, the gym, the comic book store. always coincidentally there. When I arrived, I changed my routines. Then she tried using mutual friends, asking them to talk to me to arrange accidental meetings. Most refused, and those who tried got shut down quickly. I made my feelings clear. I was just respecting her honesty. Throughout it all, I maintained radio silence with her directly. No calls, no texts, no emails. I knew that any engagement would just prolong the pain and drama. This wasn't about punishing her. It was about respecting myself enough to walk away from someone who saw me as a means to an end, rather than a partner she truly loved. 2 weeks passed. I blocked her on everything and focused on rebuilding. I got a promotion at work. Turns out, when you're not constantly being told you're not good enough, your confidence improves. I started hitting the gym again and reconnected with friends she deemed not good enough for our social life. Then the financial reality hit her. Amber had been living well beyond her means, relying on my income and savings to cover the gap. Without me, everything fell apart quickly. First, she couldn't make rent. My former landlord contacted me saying she was 3 weeks late and asking if I knew how to reach her. "Not my problem anymore," I replied, "but I know someone looking for a place if you need to fill it quickly." Next, her car got repossessed. She had been making minimum payments on a BMW she couldn't afford. Without my loans that she never repaid, the bank took it back. Then her friends started distancing themselves. It turns out Megan and Kylie liked partying with Amber when she was covering the bill with my credit card. Without that, they found other friends. The real karma, though, came from the marketing conference she attended on the day I moved out. She had been trying to network for a new job, aiming for a higher-paying position at a bigger agency. She got the job but lost it when the hiring manager saw her social media meltdown. In her industry, public image matters, and hers had tanked. I know all this not because I was stalking her or asking around. I know because she couldn't stop herself from documenting her downfall on social media, interspersed with cryptic quotes about betrayal and finding your strength. She emailed me from a new address since I had blocked her main one. "Mike, I'm desperate. I can't make rent. My car is gone. I might lose my job. I know I don't deserve it, but I need help just to get back on my feet. I'll pay you back. I swear. Please, I have nowhere else to turn." I waited 3 days, then replied, "That sounds really challenging. Have you considered that maybe this is just a stepping stone to something better? People grow apart from their financial problems all the time. Good luck with your journey." Was it petty? Maybe, but it felt darn good to throw her words back at her. She must have shown my response to someone because my phone blew up with texts from her friends calling me heartless, cruel, a monster for abandoning someone in need. I sent them all the same thing. A link to the saved Instagram Live where their friend had revealed her true feelings about me. The text stopped. Around this time I got an unexpected message from Kylie, one of her friends who had been there during the infamous live. "Hey Mike, I know you probably hate me, and that's fair, but I wanted to say I'm sorry for laughing along with what Amber said that night. It wasn't cool. She's been saying that kind of stuff for a while and I just went along with it. You seem like a good guy, and you deserved better." I appreciated the apology but didn't pursue the conversation. I was moving on. The final update came last week. I heard through mutual friends that Amber had to move back in with her parents in the suburbs. Her personal brand collapsed when someone created a compilation video of all her materialistic posts alongside the clip of her calling me a stepping stone. She lost most of her followers and, with them, her identity. Her parting shot was a long Instagram post about her journey of self-discovery and how she was taking time to reflect on toxic relationship patterns. She never admitted what she did wrong. She never took responsibility for her actions. Classic Amber. Meanwhile, I'm dating again. Nothing serious, just enjoying meeting people who actually want to know me, not what I can provide. My new apartment feels like home. I'm saving for a house now, one that I'll buy because I like it, not because it'll look good on someone's Instagram. Sometimes I think about how close I came to legally binding myself to someone who saw me as nothing but a wallet with legs. It would have meant alimony payments, possibly child support, years of manipulation and gaslighting, all avoided because she couldn't resist the validation of strangers on a live stream. The wedding would have cost me $35,000. The divorce would have cost me much more. Instead, I invested that money in myself. Best return I'll ever get. It's been just over 6 months now since I walked away from Amber and that life. I thought I'd give you all an update since the original post received so much attention. First off, thanks for all the support. The comments and messages really helped during those first few weeks when I was second-guessing myself. To the few who called me a jerk for how I handled it, maybe you're right, but I don't regret it. So, here's where things stand. That promotion I mentioned turned into an even better opportunity. One of our clients offered me a position as their IT director, $110,000 a year, plus bonuses and stock options. I took the job. It was the first time in my life I'd earned a six-figure salary. The irony wasn't lost on me. This happened right after Amber complained about how little I was making. With that new income, I bought a house. Nothing extravagant, just a modest 3-bedroom ranch in a nice neighborhood with good schools. I'm thinking long-term here. The down payment came from what would have been our wedding fund. Every time I walk through the front door, I feel a sense of peace knowing it's mine. No one can tell me what color to paint the walls or complain that my furniture isn't aesthetic enough. The dating scene has been interesting. I've gone out with a few women, some great, some not so great. Nothing serious yet, but I'm not rushing. The difference now is that I'm looking for a partner, not just someone who looks good in photos. I want someone who asks about my day and actually listens to the answer. Someone who doesn't see my stability as something to exploit, but rather something to match. As for Amber, I've kept my distance, but it's a small city, so I hear things. She's still living with her parents, still posting inspirational quotes and selfies, but her engagement numbers have tanked. She tried to rebrand herself as a personal growth coach, but that didn't take off. Last I heard, she's working at a retail store in the mall, the same one she used to make fun of people for shopping at. The funniest part? She's dating some guy who looks exactly like me. Same build, same hair color, similar style, but from what mutual friends tell me, he drives the least luxurious car he can barely afford and lives in a fancy apartment that's eating up 50% of his income. All flash, no substance. It seems she's found her match. Her final attempt to contact me came about 2 months ago. She sent a handwritten letter to my new house, still not sure how she got the address. It was pages and pages about how she'd grown and changed and realized what's truly important in life. She ended it by asking if we could get coffee sometime. I didn't respond. Some people asked in the comments of my original post if I ever felt bad about how things turned out for her. The honest answer is, sometimes briefly. There were good times in those 3 years, moments when I thought what we had was real. But then I remember her face on that Instagram live, the casual cruelty in her voice when she called me a stepping stone, and any guilt evaporates. You know what's funny? If she had just said those things in private to her friends, I probably never would have known. I might be married to her right now, thinking she loved me while she planned her exit strategy. In a weird way, her need for social media validation saved me from a much worse fate. So that's it. The story doesn't have some dramatic conclusion. No big confrontation. No tearful reconciliation. Just me building a better life on my own terms while she deals with the consequences of her actions. And if there's a lesson here, I guess it's this. Pay attention to who someone is when they don't think you're watching. That's who they really are.